Okay, in this video we're just going to talk about linear focus on the Panasonic cameras. In particular, we're using the Panasonic GH6. So this is just a question I get asked quite a lot by people, what is linear focus? Should I be using it? So we're just going to jump in and we're just going to quickly sort of have a look at what it does and when we can use it. So if we switch the camera on and then we can jump into the menu. And then you'll find this under the cog and then the lens icon here. And what you might find is, so I'm using the Panasonic 25mm no, it's not, yeah, 1.4. And on this lens in particular, when we come into here, the one we want is the focus ring control, and you can see it's set to non-linear, and then when we go to use it, we actually can't. And the reason for that is because not all lenses support linear focus. So what we need to do is take that one off, and then we'll swap it for, I know this one will work, to 35 to 100. So we'll swap that over. Panasonic doesn't have, I might be wrong in saying this, but I've never been able to find a very comprehensive list of the lenses that support linear focus, but there is something very close for the GH5 Mark II with a kind of list, so I'll link that in the description, so you can check that out and see if you think any of your lenses support it. But obviously a really quick way is just to put the lenses on, make sure they're on the latest lens firmware. There's a link up in a corner if you don't know how to update lens firmware. And then you can find out on this if yours has it. Some of them do have it, but they're on later versions of firmware and things like that. So once we're in, we just go back to the same bit. So menu, cog, or the just sort of cog or gear, and then the lens icon, which is the bottom one. And you can see now focus ring control is enabled, and we're set to non-linear. So we can come in and we've got non-linear, linear, or we've got set. And essentially what it does, what we'll do is we'll keep it in non-linear just for a second. This isn't a fantastic lens to be doing this on, but let's just bring that up into something a bit more so we can actually see. I don't think I'm even going to be able to quite hit focus, but that doesn't matter too much. So we're on the end of the focus there, and what we'll do is just put on, just for the sake of being able to show you roughly how this works, we'll just put this manual focus gear on there, and essentially, so I'll just put that on quickly. It doesn't have to be very good, just stick that on. Right, and then we're at the end of the, you can see we're at the end of the focus there, and with this on, I can have this at the top, and then I know roughly, how much I have to turn it to get to a certain point. But what you'll find is with this, if you turn very slowly, I can kind of keep on turning the focus, keep turning it. I've done a whole rotation, and then back again. And that's because I'm turning it very slowly, whereas if I just turn it really quickly, I'm there in sort of half a turn of the focus. So you can kind of, you probably can't see this turning on the end, but if I turn it as quick as I can get there in less than one turn. But if I do it very slowly, I can be turning the focus for a few times before it's there. So essentially the takeaway is that it's not consistent. It's led by how quickly you're turning the focus, whereas if you switch into, if we come back into this and then we switch into linear focus, and if we may as well cover this at the same time, if we go into set, you can see here that it actually gives you options on how much you need to turn it to do kind of a full focus from one end to the other. So the shortest throw that we've got is 90 degrees. So we could kind of do that, and then we can come back. So we're in linear focus now. And then what we should find is when we come down to there, you can see, hopefully you can just about see this. So I'm there at the end of it, and then if I come up to the top, in theory, yeah, we come right to the other end of the focus range. So you can see there 90 degrees is bringing us from one end to the other, whether I do it quickly or slowly. We're still getting to that right point at the same time. It doesn't matter sort of how quickly or slowly we do it, it's just set to that distance. And the same for kind of 180. We can, if I go all the way to, so I turn it so it's kind of there, so we've got this right at the top, and then by the time it gets to the bottom, because it's on 180, 180 degree turn of the thing, you can see it's at the bottom there. 180 degree turn has brought it to the other end of the focus range. So essentially it's useful because what it can do is, well, actually let's jump back into this. It's useful for a start because it's consistent in how it works. We basically you can have stops, you know, if you had a proper follow focus, which I do, but I just wanted to kind of show you just with this to kind of show you like a rough guide of it. But you could actually set A to B focus points. So you know, if you're focusing from one subject to another, you'd be able to set hard stops one side to the other, and you know you're always going to hit it on linear focus. Whereas, like I say, with the other non-linear focus, you don't really know. There's no consistency there to know that, you know, you've got one stop and another stop. It's just however quickly you're turning it dictates how many turns of the focus ring it's going to take. So it just gives you a really nice, easy way to do it. And then having these options as well, you know, if you just want a really light kind of focus, you know, sort of real ease of use, 90 degrees is obviously really easy, but that might be not suitable for certain things. You know, you might want to be sort of more fine-tuned focusing. So, you know, you can set it to 1080, and then you can see you're really just, you're doing very, very fine-tuned focusing on the same kind of turn. So it gives you like quite a lot of nice options on how you want to work with the focus ring. And yeah, I find it really useful sort of flicking between like a few of these. I like the kind of short throw sometimes is really useful if you're doing you know, like kind of focus effects. And then, you know, these ones can be useful as well if you're sort of working within a certain focus range and you're just sort of trying to stick within it. So it's certainly got its use, and yeah, it's something that if I've got a compatible lens for it, then I will be using it. So yeah, hopefully that sort of explained what it is and what it does. And if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. But yeah, if this video helped, please give it a like. If you want to see more content on the Panasonic GH6, then check out the playlist on this channel, and please subscribe.